The Emerson Mnangagwa pulled a shocker when he announced using his new powers under the Constitution Amendment Act number 3 of 2026 to appoint 10 senators. They say he has recommended them to the parliament, but we know that is part of the appointment. And among ambitious business men Gudawashe Takwirei, the others are Jablan Sbanda, Mary Mliswa Nogutula, Matsikinyere Goodwills Masimiremba, Lucy Chitanga, retired General Gibson Mashinga, Makosini Hlongwane, and of course the more topical one, that is Brilliant Dube and Irene Mutumba. But the focus today would be on retired General Gibson Mashinga. Those who remember retired General Gibson Mashinga, he is the retired general when one of the retired generals, that is retired Vice Air Marshal Mchena, came out saying all retired military generals, as well as also senior military staff personnel, have decided to disassociate themselves with the then Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 of 2026, of course citing their reasons that it betrayed the gains of the liberation struggle. Mashinga was used after some days by Emerson Mnangagwa to disassociate himself and also some few retired military generals from Emerson Mnangagwa, citing that they are not pattern. They were not part and parcel of the purported retired. It was meant to water down the argument that all retired military generals are on the side of retired General Chiwenga. Greetings and welcome to your live channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. So to some, this may appear as a reward, such as retired General Mashinga. But is this a reward from Emerson Mnangagwa to retired Gibson Mashinga? Or Emerson Mnangagwa wants to appear to be paying them, to be rewarding them, yet making some advancements? Remember, the people who are today enemies of Emerson Mnangagwa, just in 2017, they were parties. There were individuals who could die for Emerson Mnangagwa, and they thought that Mnangagwa was a brother that was worth dying for. But few years just down the line, just about 2 years, they turned into serious enemies, and Emerson Mnangagwa launched an onslaught against them. One after another, we saw them following each other to the National Heroes Acre, and a record more than 150 retired military generals have died from the period 2017 up to date. Even in a war situation, if you see a country losing such a number of retired military generals, it would have lost the war. This simply, even soldiers, losing just soldiers. But here we are talking of retired military generals, people with the experience of fighting during the liberation struggle. Some of them who have been deployed to serious war zones. People who understand, who had practical understanding of warfare. But these are what Emerson Mnangagwa dealt with them. News, by the way, last week, in fact, if not last week, this week, someone was being buried at the National Heroes Acre, which means the mission is still on and highly active. So, is Mashinga safe? Mnangagwa has rewarded him for actually showing a middle finger to retired Vice Air Marshal Muchena and seeking to prove him wrong. And also, I think also what Mnangagwa wanted to achieve, he wanted to expose that not all retired military generals were in support of retired General Chiwenga. So he's being rewarded at the moment. That is retired General Gibson Mashinga. It's a pay of what he did. And is trying to demonstrate to other retired military generals that you can only have jobs, paying jobs in ZANU-PF if you decide to actually support my faction. And of course, we saw some individuals from the G40, such as Makosini from Wane, coming through. And also, we saw individuals like Udawashe Takure, and I think dealt with that one. That one I don't think is a reward, according to how I perceive things. It's not a reward to be appointed to the Senate. Of course, he did a lot of job for Emmerson Mnangagwa in terms of financing Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 of 2026. And he was deceived, just like retired General Chiwenga. My brother, when you allow me to be the president just for 5 years, I will hand over power to you. I will also hand over power to other retired military generals to strengthen the brotherhood, and the military will continue leading the country until donkeys grow horns. You know, the statement that was said by Senyatwe, retired General Chiwenga, at some point also recited that similar sentiment. But the truth of the matter is, Emmerson Mnangagwa is not an individual to trust. Later on, to trust him with your own life. They did so. They gave him too much power, and he has used this too much power to eliminate them and try to create a new crop of leaders that would be loyal to him. But it must be understood that individuals like Themba Mliso is just, not Themba Mliso, actually, Mudawashe Takure is just packing them there to the Senate in order to deal with them. And you will see there is no way Mnangagwa can actually put someone outside his wife as well as also his children to succeed him. There is absolutely no way. And you have seen over the past few days that there were signs, it was written all over the world, that relations between him and Mnangagwa Takure, they are not at all time good. Even retired General Mashinga, he is given a handshake and smiled upon. Don't ever think Emmerson Mnangagwa will hesitate to take on him. It's a plan, actually. It's promotion and also keeping you close in order for it to be easier to deal with him. It doesn't mean that promotion will actually, it should not be seen as a gold. It should not be seen as a worthy reward. It's a reward you. Definitely he will finish with him, because as long as he is alive, he's part of the retired military generals at one point who was opposed to Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 of 2026. He later on changed, and most probably he might have been forced to do so, and he has sold his soul, and it comes also with a cost selling your soul to Emmerson Mnangagwa. He will come after him when he can't even see with him. In a manner, he dealt with individuals such as Matemadanda and other retired military generals. Definitely, that is on the horizon. So we saw quite a lot of individuals. And do you think Mnangagwa is comfortable with individuals like Jabulani Sibanda? No, he's not comfortable with individuals like Jabulani Sibanda. And also, Goodwill's Masimiremba, of course, that one is not a threat to Emmerson Mnangagwa. If you ask him, Jambi, ask how high, my lord. So he's a staunch Emmerson Mnangagwa supporter. Well, to him, it may be seen as a reward, But not all of these individuals. In fact, they deserve more than what Mnangagwa has just done. If maybe Budawashe Takurei was appointed to the vice presidency, but still he should not relax and think that Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa can actually eliminate all these retired military generals, only for him to hand over power to him on a silver platter. He would be stupid to think that way. So Mashinga, obviously, just like Chiwenga in 2017, he was rewarded with the vice presidency. And all of us thought, it's just being put there for a short period of time. He is going to take over. Mnangagwa is going to hand over power to him so easily, but he has shown he is the man that has suffered the most. And had got to understand Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa in a hard manner, and that is who he is. So these promotions, implementing Constitutional Amendment Act number 3 of 2026, of course, is biting at his rival, retired General Chiwenga, but also it should not be necessarily seen as promotions, even to those who have betrayed Chiwenga. Chiwenga may have seemed to have betrayed Robert Gabriel Mugabe, but what did Mnangagwa do afterwards? Mnangagwa has no permanent friends. He has permanent interest, and he has demonstrated this beyond any reasonable doubt. That family, which is currently in charge of Zimbabwe, is not worthy to be where it is. And those who are trusting this very dangerous and notorious president do so at their own their own predicament. Thank you very much for watching. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. You can financially support this channel by pressing the join button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and send us stars. Okanqobo Mhlabane is signing out. Don't go very far. Please don't forget also to press the subscribe button. I'm